I have an improvised song. Wait, yeah. No, I have an improvised song. You want to hear it? About my favorite things? Yeah. Raindrops on roses and whiskers on kittens. Bright copper kettles and warm woolly mittens. I wrote this. Brown paper packages tied up with string. There's weed in it. These are a few of my favorite things. Cream color fixated.
That was cute.
That was really cute. We're cute.
Cute. Hello, and welcome to this, our new podcast, Fixated, where we talk about things from interest to obsession and everything in between.
I'm Beth.
And I am Verity, the British sidekick character of this podcast.
Oh, yes. That is how I would describe you.
Your life is not a movie until you have a British side character in it.
I don't know how I was living before I met you, Ver, because
Right.
I did not have a British sidekick before I met you.
All right. Did you have any comic relief in your life at all? Like,
I was my own comic relief. My life was a comic relief.
That
you know what I mean?
takes a lot of energy to be like the silly side character in your own life. I feel that everybody should be the lead character of their own life, right? Mm-hmm. Like in A Holiday, Kate Winslet says that when she's talking to the old man at the restaurant. Reference time. It's nice to be doing neurodivergent things on a neurodivergent podcast, like involuntarily.
To just be existing in the world is just very nice.
Let's open up a whole thought for me, which is like a whole different thing.
Open up those thoughts. This is Fixated, where we like unleash all of the neurodivergent, spicy ass soup.
Well, break
All
out the
over.
spice rack, because a profound realization that I had after finding out about being neurodivergent, coming to terms with it, was that I had, in a way of trying to feel safe, made myself a sidekick in other people's lives instead of be the lead character of my own life. That was a habit of mine, and I didn't even realize I was doing it, but I always looked for a more dominant energy, and I'd be like, oh, I'll just go along with them. And of course that could have wound me up in a bunch of different terrible life stories, and I just feel very fortunate that I realized I was doing that and kind of realized that we should all be the lead character of our story, and you can make decisions, you know?
Oh, I relate to that so hard because I felt like I couldn't make decisions without opinions of other people. Like I couldn't trust my own opinions and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
I think there's a right answer.
Yeah.
And when I sit for long enough, I will remember eventually, oh, this might be a nuanced situation that doesn't have like a right and a wrong.
What does nuance mean?
Essentially, that something within the binary. You know, like how gender has nuance. That means that it's not binary, where there's a right and a wrong. Nuance meaning that there's kind of some wibbly wobbliness to it.
Okay.
I often find that with like communication, there's nuance to communication. There's text, there's subtext, a nuance can be hard to perceive.
Very difficult.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm even explaining it right. I could definitely look you up the definition. But to me, nuances, they're not being an obvious, easy way to put it in a box. Like, oh no, there's nuance. Like, there's nuance to acting. There's different acting techniques, and
I think I once Googled nuance, and like I hate it when this happens. When you like look up a word and like it's like the act of being nuance or something like that. You know what I mean? It's like that's the definition of nuance, and I'm like, oh no shit. Like,
thank you for this wealth of information. Now, can I hear it used in a sentence? This person was able to perform with lots of nuance. I'm like, I still don't know the answer.
I don't understand it. I think there's too many words.
It's interesting that you say that.
I think there's too many words. I'd rather know less words.
I think it would make life easier, right? If it felt like, oh, there's fewer words. But I personally would say that I like there being so many different words for so many different things. What is confusing is that the way we use words evolves, language evolves, and it evolves constantly so that the meaning of something changes over time. And that also creates like a generational communication barrier. Like when older people say things that they don't think are at all bad, that were normal, and we're like, and perhaps that word doesn't even mean what they think it means.
Oh, yeah, like when elder gays are like, don't use the word queer, that's insulting. And we're like, but...
It's been reclaimed.
It's been reclaimed.
I promise.
It's like our entire thing now. It's up in Target. Like, and I love Target, but like,
the recent
Oh yeah, with recent things like Target, like can literally suck my dick. But I might have to, okay, but whatever.
We won't talk about
But
Target.
I do shop at Target. But okay, but like the whole whenever Target has quiet and they're just like cheer queer,
Gentrified queerness. Like, come
Yes,
buy
I'm
a
a queen.
beautiful doormat.
Gay.
Oh, that was a fixation of yours for a while. They had that epic doormat and you missed out on getting that epic doormat.
I think about it. I've been thinking about it every day. And I don't know why. No, the Target Pride, because I walked into Target before they started taking things away. And I walked into Target and I was like, oh, let's check out this Pride collection. It was like around the beginning of June. I walked in and I saw this, and I saw the Pride section, and I was actually really impressed. I'm not normally like impressed by Target's Pride section, but I walked in and then I was like, wow, they really stepped it the fuck up. That green jumpsuit that I have, I got that from Target. Like, it was so cute. I bought a bunch of things.
It's great on you. Green is great on you.
Thank you. I love green. It's my favorite color. I love this like Gumby kind of outfit.
And we were saying earlier that we kind of feel like a watermelon, like you've got the outside, the dark and the light green stripes, and I'm like, well, the pink squishiness in the middle.
We definitely look like the packaging for like watermelon flavored gum. You know what I mean?
Watermelon flavored gum.
Watermelon flavored gum. We also look like Cosmo and Wanda, which I love.
And this is funny considering that I feel like the hair is almost like a Timmy Turner t-shirt color, but it's not. You're right. It's like more Wanda.
Yeah, no.
Well, this is Wanda. And
I love that hair color on you. It's like a little lavendery too. It's really cute.
I think I kind of want to maybe have it slightly warmer. Like, I have wanted to change my hair so much since I was like 16. I've always wanted to experiment with hair color, but I'm always that person that like makes the mood board, finds the color, does the thing, and then doesn't take action for fear of some kind of like, oh, what if I don't like it? Or what if other people don't like it? Blah, 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 blah. Like, and that, when you get decision paralysis, but not because I haven't made the decision, like I've picked the hair color, but now I'm like, but then things will change.
Oh, it's hard. I literally cry every time I get my hair done. I was crying after I got my hair done recently.
Right. A couple of days ago, you came to my play and you told me you didn't like your hair.
I didn't like, no, literally Verity stepped off stage, came out and then was just like, after the show, and I'm like, Ver, great show. I hate my hair.
And I'm like, what do you hate about it? I didn't even look different to me at the time. But now, whatever you've been doing, I love this because it's like this strawberry blonde, but it's got this kind of like, dusty Hollywood glamour vibe to it.
Thank you.
It suits you.
No, thank you. I love it so much. It just like was very. Wait, I was talking about something beforehand, and I completely forgot.
Okay, so let's backtrack. Hair, Target. What are we talking about pre-Target?
And they had a doormat that said gayest place in town, and I like decided not to buy it, and
then it appeared in your dreams.
No, like I passed by it
forget.
a couple of times, and I was like, I think I want to get it. And then I was like, no, I can't spend too much money because I honestly bought a lot of their Pride collection, and I didn't want to spend too much money. And then the day I finally decided to go back, it was completely gone. No. And then I found out why later. And I thought it was just sold out. And then I found out why. I looked online and it was just like, oh, Target pulled a bunch of Pride merch and stuff. And it sucked and I hated it. And screw you, Target, for taking away that. I mean, that I don't understand how that mat is bad. Gayest place in town, like as a doormat.
I think I'm not fully abreast with all the information. Lol, breast. But
good joke.
Thank you. I actually derail my own train of thought. I'm like, come on. Breast. What was I saying before I said breast?
Boob joke. She likes girls. She'll get it.
Oh my God, boobs. Oh, I was saying that, not that I'm privy to all the information, but did they say they were basically getting like a bunch of threats and stuff? Now, personally, I would like to think that we won't give in to that kind of thing, and that generally we all want peace and progress and gentleness and kindness, and the idea that like people can frighten an organization that's as big as Target, that's sad to me, because
like no one's gonna stop shopping there. You know what I mean? Like, I mean the gays now,
where they're like I really should, before I make any kind of comment, I need to like actually look at the information. But it's because I'm obviously sad that they pulled that stuff, because I agree with you. Like, it's crazy to me that there are people who don't even identify as neurodivergent, who are hyper fixated on other people's sexuality and other people's genitalia, and it's this whole thing.
It's gross and weird. It's very like it's honestly disgusting. It's like, why do you fucking care? Like, why do you care?
It's very invasive. And this idea where they want freedom for everybody who is exactly like them and nobody else. Well, I'm like, well, that's not freedom then, darling. That's oppression. That is supremacy of a particular group. That's freedom.
That's not freedom, darling. That's world domination.
Like that. I'm British. I should know. But yeah, isn't that strange when if for somebody to say freedom, but what they mean is freedom to take away other people's freedom. That's not freedom. So I get very confused by it, because obviously it's a big word in America, and I am not from America, so I can't speak to growing up in American culture or anything, and there may be a lot of nuance, our word of the day, to the situation that I'm not aware of. We didn't even study America super hard or anything in the UK, like.
But, I love that. We study the UK so hard. Well, just because, we
ignore you. No, we don't.
We studied so hard, and we studied like European history and everything, and like, oh yeah, like this mainly with like with the Renaissance and whatever.
I have a period of history that I want to learn more about, that I know is. Do you ever feel a fixation coming on where you're like, as soon as I watch a documentary on that subject, I'm going to be like, I'm really interested in the period of British history. For a brief moment, we did not have a monarchy and we were a republic. Did you know that?
Really? Wait, when?
So it was a man named Oliver Cromwell rose to power, and there was a civil war in the UK between basically people that believed that the monarchy should continue to rule and people that wanted to rise up, destroy the monarchy, start run the government differently. And this is before we had the House of Commons. In the UK, we have the House of Commons and the House of Lords. So I think back then it was just like the House of Lords. This whole war where Oliver Cromwell won and ran the country. And it was only after a little while. Horrible Histories explains this really well. It's a very funny show that I would recommend to anybody, that's actually quite informative as well. Horrible Histories. It's amazing. I will definitely find a link or some more info and just put it in the comments of this particular video. If anyone's genuinely interested to know more about Horrible Histories, it's so good.
I love Horrible Histories. I want to hear about people fucking up. I want to hear about people. I want to feel smarter than the brightest minds in history.
But the amazing thing about it is it's songs and it's funny, and it was aimed at children, but they won a legit comedy award because so many adults were enjoying this TV show. I think they won a BAFTA or something that they were not expecting to even be nominated for in an adult category. They were like, this is a kids show. We have a puppet rat. We were not expecting this, but they're so funny. And you've probably seen a bunch of those actors in other things since, because they are hilarious.
Oh my God. I love that. They accidentally made the show. That's so funny.
But just to sum up this thing about the British Civil War, they beheaded the king. They beheaded Charles I. Oliver Cromwell was running the shop. When was
Charles the First?
Let's make it pop up on the screen, because the answer right now is I can't remember. But
this is your country.
I know. It's just I remember the historical context, and I feel like I have taken away the lessons, just not the dates. We have the House of Commons now because eventually people got sick of how Oliver Cromwell was running England. They wanted to get rid of him, and so they went to Charles II to be like, yo mate, we know we killed your dad and stuff, but do you want to come back and be the king? Because this Oliver Cromwell dude's well boring and super Cromwell? Serious.
they let someone rise to power named, was he the leader of a rebellion group or something like that?
Yeah, I think it was kind of like that. And it was he was a Puritan. He was very puritanical, and his religious beliefs, and within puritanical Christianity, I think verity is actually a Puritan name. I've heard that because it means truth, and so people would have names like silence, charity, truth, those kinds of things. It was a very serious way. I think he didn't like Catholicism. He attacked any form of Christianity that wasn't Puritanism. Insert correct word here. But
Charles I was 1600. Okay, yeah, so around this time.
In that era.
Post-Shakespeare.
And I remember we learned about this era in school, and I just thought that was fascinating. And many people Oh my gosh, that's the alarm. I could talk to you forever.
I know. It's like, it's the alarm of us just needing to move on to our next subject, because we usually have 2 subjects
Cool.
per pod. But we already did it.
We are kind of gliding through a few things that we're fixated on.
But let's keep going with this Charles the First for a second.
I'm just so interested in it because England got very, very serious. And when I say that, what I mean is like theatres were no. Theatre was sinful, smiling was sinful, fun was sinful. It sounds kind of like a lot of the kinds of things that women are facing in like Iran right now. You know what I mean? Where like you're not allowed to do anything that could be construed as like lewd or even if it's something that we in a modern society or like, you know, fairly well-heeled mind would go, what's wrong with that? Like, why is dancing sinful?
Or he didn't like
Oliver
arts.
Cromwell didn't like anything fun.
Oh, I was going to talk about Oliver Cromwell, because what kind of who would follow a fucking dude named Oliver Cromwell?
This guy was like, I think he'd started off like fairly middle class, and life hadn't treated him or his family super kindly, and he got beaten down and trodden down. And then he joined this church where they were like, hey, if you've been trodden down, that's because like God has a journey for you and it's meant to be that way, and made him feel special and made him feel like this was a sign that he was pious and good, right? Which like, and I'm not saying that people aren't, I'm just saying that like he really took that to heart and into his head, and kind of, I don't know quite how this movement started, but eventually it was, there was lots of disparity. I'm not going to say that there weren't negative things about life, I'm sure. I mean, I don't even think they had like good sewer systems and stuff. I'm sure it was really, really difficult to be alive back then. And then to see royals looking all like sparkly and clean and fine, and it's like, how is this allowed? So I understand where the mindset comes from.
Like we were talking about earlier about if we could go to any era and like peek in and stuff. Like, I just don't want to smell it. You know what I mean?
Beth would like to go and experience other eras and other places, but not be able to smell it.
Because like, honestly, they probably smell like shit, but they probably can't smell it. You know what I mean?
I think, you become accustomed to like none of us know what our house smells like until we've been away for a bit, and then you come back like, oh, this is what my house smells like, because you get used to it, right? So I'm guessing they have that, but like with intensely bad smells. Eventually your brain stops telling you about the smell if you're in it for long enough.
Well, think about it. They have no air freshener. They have no deodorant. They have no perfume. They have no, and I'm all about smells. Like
and they did invent perfume for this reason, where they were like, it was to mask other smells. I think that's why perfume was invented.
Yeah, no, good thing. Because they probably were just like, I wonder if the first person who ever thought of perfume was just like, probably an autistic person who like couldn't stand the way everybody smelled.
But then don't you find that some perfumes are like too strong for you? Because I will like a perfume, but then I have to tell myself, don't wear it too often or I'll start to hate it. Because if I can smell it all the time, it starts to bother me.
Oh, yeah. But like, I'm thinking like back then, would you rather deal with like a strong perfume smell or a strong like shit smell?
Oh, yeah. I'm sure that's why people went for perfume. Hell yes.
Why they made it super, super strong was just like, we got to cover up all of the...
I'd rather smell this. And cities, nobody could figure out why cities were so gross, but it's because like, you got lots of humans, which are animals, all crammed in together and not good sewer systems.
Imagine the person who, because probably no one knew that they smell except for this person. The first person who was ever able to tell them that they all smelled. Imagine him trying to sell perfume as a product and being like, hey, you all smell awful.
I'm picturing like a caveman commercial of the first person that realized like, oh, if you rub this like basil leaf, smells nice. Hey, everyone rub that on your armpit so I can't smell you. Like something like that. Who knows how these things were invented, but...
You're trying to tell us that we... they're definitely autistic if everyone else is just like, you're trying to tell us that we smell. Accidentally offending people.
Like, but we all do smell. Is it okay that I point that out? And they're all like, it's like this unspoken thing that we all smell, but nobody talks about the fact that we all smell because we're all sensitive about it. Oh, well, nobody said that out loud, so I didn't realize it would be rude for me to say that, hey, we smell.
It's just weird to think about like England not having, was everybody just sick of having a king, or were they just like...
I think with him he brought this idea that like, oh, we're going to change everything, make everything fairer, but that isn't what he did.
Oh, then they were like, oh, what we had before him was better.
Right. And now we have this blend. Okay. So we still have a monarchy now. They reinstated the monarchy, but they had the House of Lords already, but they added a House of Commons. Now, the House of Lords and the House of Commons have this like funny tradition. It's not that funny, but like it's funny to me because of the history that it represents. Obviously, people in the House of Lords and the House of Commons are elected. They are our elected officials, like our Senate or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then you've got the House of Lords, who I think inherit their titles. Anyway, when Parliament all gathers, the House of Lords, when they're done entering, they'll like slam the door in the face of the House of Commons people. But like now it's more like a ritualistic joke. They're not actually slamming it in like a, you're not allowed in here. It's more... I think that must have happened a couple of times early on as the House of Lords were resistant to having this House of Commons. And now it's become this like joke that they'll shut the door like, we don't want you in here. And then obviously then the House of Commons people, I believe, open the door for themselves. Somebody please fact check everything I say, because I'm just using my memory of things that I have heard and seen. And I don't know if I got my facts correct on many of these things. If you're a historian, if you are fixated on this same period of history, I would really like to be friends because I want to learn. I want to learn, and I
DM them.
Like it. Oh my God, yeah. Just like hit me up. If you're a historian, let's be friends.
They actually read their DMs. I try to read my DMs. I try, but like it's hard.
I love interacting with like the neurodivergent community online. I have found so much family and like friendship.
I do too. I really do too. I do too. It's just sometimes it's hard for me to get through all of the.
Oh, of course.
You know what I mean?
Like, I have like less than 2,000 followers. There ain't that many people hitting me up, so I'm sitting pretty right now. I do get back to people, especially if we want to talk about philosophical things. That's something that you've been fixated on lately.
I don't know if I've been fixated as much on philosophical things as much as I've been afraid of death.
And I would characterize that as a philosophical thing.
But like, yeah, I don't know. It's
super relatable.
More like anxiety and paranoia and stuff like that. But I don't know if I should talk about death in like our first episode.
I understand that. I think,
or should I? I don't know.
Well, the thing is, because it doesn't make me anxious, because I've definitely been through what you're describing. I don't know. I often find that neurodivergent people are much more comfortable immediately. Like I will randomly be talking to people about death, and then I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. Is this a difficult subject for you? It's just suddenly occurred to me that might make you uncomfortable because it doesn't make me uncomfortable. It's hard for me to remember at the time. Does this make them uncomfortable?
Oh, it makes me uncomfortable. Like I can only really talk about it with like my friends and stuff. That's why I like bring it up, because it's just like, well, I think it's just I have this like paranoia where I'm like really, really afraid. I'm just like, I just have this. It's usually if I don't take my medicine for a couple days, I'll just like sit and I'll be like, we're all gonna die.
The weight of the universe is upon me.
Yeah, and then I like Google, and then I Google all the ways they're possibly going to make humans live forever, like putting our brains in robots. Because that's comforting and stuff like that. To you. It's comforting to know that it might not be over after. You know, especially like getting older, like it's also usually like around when my birthday comes up. And so just knowing that I'm going to get older and knowing that everything's going to come to an end. I'm the oldest I've ever been and the youngest I'm ever going to be.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that scares me. Like, it's like I'm never going to experience a childhood ever again. Like that's like I think about that kind of stuff and I'm just like, that's crazy.
And it makes you feel frightened and like you are missing out every moment that is going by. You're like, oh no, did I use that to the best of its potential?
Honestly, I think it's like the fact that I have major, and I think like being a nerd in school and like kind of gave me this and like not popular and stuff. Like I have major FOMO, and I think that's honestly the root behind it is just like I don't want to like miss it. I wish I could just, it's fine if I don't have to do anything, but I wish I could just be a spectator. I mean, like after I die, I'm just like sitting on a really comfy couch watching TV with snacks, and what TV is like what's going on.
You want to be a bougie ghost.
Yeah.
Where you're like, I want to see what happens. I got to know how it ends.
I just want to know how it ends. Like I want
all the way to the end.
Like I'm the type of bitch where if I'm watching a show, like if I don't know the ending, then I will lose my mind.
It makes me so anxious. Like if there, just certain scenarios, I'm like, hell yes, I have to know how it ends in order to be able to enjoy watching us get there. Yeah. So like, props to, I won't give you any spoilers, but props to the writers of The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, because they provided so much closure before you even get to the last episode. So the last episode was not crazy dysregulating for me. It was nice. It was comforting. It was like, oh, this is giving me some nice closure. And because they seed things that you would probably want to know throughout the whole last season. Oh, I loved that. Thank you so much. Because otherwise I think I would have just been like devastated on the last episode.
Wait. Since you gave the marvelous Mrs. Maisel writers a shout out.
Great job from somebody that normally feels very anxious about a show ending. That was a lot.
It makes me really sad too, dude. Wait, did you watch Barry?
Austin has been watching Barry. It's my significant other. And
Significant other? You're married.
I know. I just like that as like an all-inclusive term.
Oh, yeah.
Austin is my significant other.
Significant other.
And you need not know any more information. Austin can be like, you know how like Dolly Parton's husband is like invisible and everybody knows like almost nothing about him? Like, I don't know if that's what Austin wants, whatever. Actually, no, like Austin was in the play with me. I think Austin's okay being seen. I'm like, oh yeah, Austin was in the play.
I kind of love that though, having like the idea. No, let's call Austin your significant, your SO.
I love SO. Oh my goodness. It sounds like we work at some like high-end fashion magazine and like fun things to do with your SO.
Well, yeah, no, but I like you saying significant other in your British accent.
Significant other. Which British accent would you like? Significant other. That's a different one.
Which one is that one?
You know, because like where I'm from is really close to a place called Bristol where people talk more like this. And like the people I grew up around kind of talked like a little bit, almost like a little cross between Bristol and a cross between the outskirts of London, like mashed together. And then I, for some reason, sound like this because my mum sounds like this. I don't really have the accent of my hometown, which is strange.
Oh, because we were talking about reincarnation, and you said like you feel like you're just an old lady all the time. Or no. What'd you say?
I said
because of the way you talk or something.
This is like, I have no idea of the mysteries of the universe. But while we were talking about death, yes, we did get into like, I wonder if reincarnation is a thing. What do you think you were? Or who do you think you were in a past life? And I don't know. I can't remember the first time I had this thought, but I do have a little bit of a fixation on past lives.
This was it, yeah.
Because I don't actually have any past life memories. I would love to be that person that's like, oh my God, I remember all my past lives. And I'm like, is that really possible? I kind of want to try it. Like, you know, those like sessions where people try and take you down into it. But
Charlotte knows how to do that.
But I have a really overactive imagination, which means I could easily create scenarios and they might not actually be real. And it would bother me not knowing if it's like, oh, did I just generate this as the answer or is this the answer? But I had this thought that like, I kind of feel like I was like some weird king at some point in history.
Were you Charles the First?
Did I get beheaded? Is that it? That's why I have such a fascination with Oliver Cromwell. Like, how did he rise to power? How did he take my crown from me?
Maybe you were either Charles the First or Charles the Second.
Oh, like being burdened with like, we got to build like a whole new society. I don't know. I honestly think it was even further back in time.
Do you think it's because it might not even be England?
Right. There's no guarantee that it was England.
You might have been the king of Scotland or something like that. You might have been king of the Vikings. You might have been king.
I love this whole tangent. I love this.
Who could you have been king of? Where else has pretty much everywhere had kings before like
I would not be surprised. I still feel like it was European.
Yeah, you still feel like it was European?
I don't know.
I was going to say you could be like King of all Jesus Christ. Worthy of all name. Oh yeah, no. I grew up religious. I don't go to. I
was gonna say all your religious haters are gonna come back. Like, why are you saying Jesus is being reincarnated as like some crazy British person?
No, Christian TikTok loves to hop on my dick for real. Okay, that was
so perfect.
That was a great first episode.
You guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us.
Oh, thank you so much.
We don't really know what we're doing yet, but we do. We just like we go off on one and we could keep going forever. So
we really could. So we're gonna make this like many episodes. Who knows? We might even talk about Verity. I would love to talk more about the fact that you're a king.
I'm such a king.
You're such a
maybe
king.
I was Elvis. But I just hope that you guys like this as a way to maybe hang out with us too, because many people enjoy virtual hangouts. Like I don't know if I know.
Oh yeah, you need more neurodivergent friends, and we would like to be those neurodivergent friends.
We would like to be your neurodivergent friends.
Yeah, look at us. We're fucking weird. We're weird people.
We are weird people who
found each other in our weirdness.
You know, Beth, oh my goodness, this is a story for another episode, but just very briefly, Beth and I met over Zoom during the pandemic,
and I was so intimidated by you. I was like, "Oh my god,
hilarious
this person! You're British and you can do an American accent." I'm intimidated.
All the cool friends, I end up being like, "This is you're like our ride or die friend for life." They tell me at some point, like, "Oh, I was intimidated when I first met you," and I'm like, "I don't feel very intimidating. I don't see myself in this way at all." I just realized that like my hair is like probably falling off my head.
I love this hair color on you. We're both like really, really excited about like where this is gonna go, because it's literally just gonna be us talking about what we're thinking about, because you know, you don't really ever get to see neurodivergent people just being very unfiltered, as
honest as we can possibly try to be. I'm trying really hard not to mask.
Yeah, so I'm trying really hard not to mask too. And I feel like I didn't do a great job, but probably because when I'm listening, I'm literally just like, no, I love listening to like Verity go on tangents and stuff. I'm just literally like, oh my God, talk about this king more.
This is a thought that I wanted to tell you that I've just remembered because you just triggered the memory.
Oh, and us not remembering what the fuck to say. So you all feel seen.
But I feel like the difference between intentionally lying and masking is that masking is often involuntary. Or involuntary, as you guys would say. For me, like, I don't even realize that something is masking until I'm like, why am I so worried about how I'm appearing in the back of this Uber so that my Uber driver feels comfortable? Mm-hmm. Oh, like, I don't feel like I can give myself permission to just do what I want to do. My brain is hardwired going, how is that person perceiving me? How is that person perceiving me? And I'm not really thinking about myself or any of my interests at all. I'm only focused on this person's experience of me. That's what I think masking is.
Oh no, that's me too. Because like my how this conversation started was my friend was we were having a conversation about like our brains and like the way we work things, and then like it amazes me how little she has to do or how much more I have to do in social situations. Well, like she's just like, okay, yeah, when I enter a room that I know is like fancy, then I act a different way. And I'm like, oh yeah, no, like I have a list of things that I will say, you know, based off my previous experiences in fancy rooms, and also list of approved things that I've rehearsed in the past.
More eye contact.
Yeah, more eye contact. I'll stand taller. And then she was just like, I don't do that much.
No, yeah, right.
I can do it naturally. And I'm like, you can?
When you think you're relating to somebody and they look back at you like you are made of squirrels, and you're like, okay, I guess we don't fully relate.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm not weird. I hide squirrels.
But yeah, that's why that's why we should do this, because I never, ever, ever growing up had a space. I just hid myself my whole life, and we both related on that. And I think that like my neurodivergence, I've become a lot more comfortable with it, honestly, since like I started being friends with you. Like, because I took like month long breaks where I was just literally like, I can't post about my brain anymore because I'm so embarrassed.
Right. I have still struggled. Even because I love what you've done with your Instagram. I love what you've done with your TikTok. I love that you are making people feel seen all over the world. And it's been really inspiring for me, especially because I was there.
You've been part of it, Ver.
Right, because like right at the beginning, right before you blew up, we were talking about it and we were starting to be like, I think we're going to be friends. But neither of us knew when we'd actually get a chance to meet, because this was still like pandemic-y time, right? Mm-hmm. And I wanted to do... at that time, I wanted to do what you did. But I didn't feel jealous. I felt like... I can't do it because people probably won't believe me.
That's a real friend, for real. Like, no, you're like a real friend. Like, when I was telling a friend about like our audition, because we got an audition for like the same role, or no, I had gotten the audition first,
right? And
like that's like I'm saying that's a real friend. Like that's what a real friend would do. And like someone told me that this is how I know we have like a very real, good, healthy friendship. Like and I was just like, oh yeah, I had like told Ver, oh, talk to your manager when we were doing the self tape. I was like
you should go for it too.
You should go for it too. Like, talk to your manager about it. And then
I remember worrying that you didn't really mean it. Not because I thought you didn't come across. Yeah, right, you didn't come across as disingenuous. I was just like, how could somebody possibly want me to audition for the same role as them?
Oh yeah, no,
you know what I mean? But like
Ellie,
you're really like that. You're so like supportive. And then when you told me you were like, fair, if you get the role, then I will be just as happy and I will have to do less work. Which was the sweetest response you could have given me, because I definitely felt all kinds of weird vibes. Like, you were so excited about the job and I didn't want to take it away from you. But like me auditioning, I was like, how much up my own ass would I have to be to assume that I would definitely get the role and take it away from you? You know what I mean? So I was like, chill out, Verity. Don't jump to conclusions.
And then you showed me your tape and I was jealous.
But like I love that you felt safe to be able to tell me, because you were like,
I've never been that safe with someone to be like, I was jealous. And
you were like stimming because you were like, oh, I like the things that you've chosen. Oh, that's good. Oh, V, you're going to get it. And I was like, oh, you're upset. Like, I might not get it. We have no idea what they're looking for. But when people don't mask around me, if you'd been really polite and said all the right things, I think I would have felt less close to you, because I would have felt like, oh, you're just saying the right things. You're not really telling me how you feel. When somebody shows that is able to have a negative emotion but not make it your problem, if you know what I mean, like you didn't say like, you've done this to me, you didn't project it onto me, you just experienced it near me and like believed me when I believe rightly told you. Just because you like my audition doesn't mean that I'm going to get, like, I'm glad that you like it. And I'm moved that it's moving you to this reaction. But that doesn't, who knows what they want?
Oh, yeah. And how I was like, very honestly, like, if you saw my tape and then like for the, like, if we were in like, the
I liked your
roles,
tape.
Yeah. I know you. I know you literally got me through that tape. Like, for real. Because I was so nervous. But literally, if the roles had been reversed though, and that was like you watching my tape, I honestly would have been a little offended if you weren't jealous. Like, I would have been like,
you're not stimming or doing anything to comfort yourself.
You're not feeling, I mean, I don't want you to feel in distress. Like, I know what you mean. But like, you get what I mean? Like, I would have, like, even if, and I was only jealous for a second, but then I was like, my friendships are way more important than any fucking role, for real. A friendship is invaluable, but there's like so many roles in the world, but there's only one Verity Van Dams. Yeah.
You're so sweet. Do you know what? I still, like, this is my favorite conclusion that we came to, because like, I love how both mature and childish this is at the same time. We were like, okay, let's just hope that one of us gets it, and then the other one can be their stand-in / body double. It would be perfect.
We'll bring the other person to Australia to be the like emotional support.
Hi, I'm an emotional support human for Beth Burnham. The British accent. Oh yeah. She paid extra for it.
It's like Siri, but like a real person.
Hi.
It doesn't give you like the stupidest responses.
Would you like to call Beth Burnham?
Hey, yes, Siri.
Siris are British in England. Isn't that weird? I only just switched my phone over to have like an American sounding Siri.
Is it like default British in England?
Yes. And in whatever country you're in, like Australia, if you talk to Siri in Australia, Siri has an Australian accent.
Australian Siri is real cute. She sounds cute.
Yeah, I think you guys would like really hit it off.
Australian Leslie's, hit me up.
Australian Leslie's, hit Beth up, please.
Australian Leslie's,
tell me
down under.
Oh my god.
Australian Leslie's, want to go down under?
No one makes me laugh more than you. Oh my god. I'm dead. Just put like the skull emoji over my head for the rest of the podcast.
And that was episode 1 of Fixated. Come back next week to
see if we're medicated correctly.
Bye.
Bye.